Hello everyone. This video is part of a series where our main goal is to learn TypeScript. I've been working with it for several years and I find it much easier and much more straightforward to maintain projects when we use TypeScript than when we use JavaScript. And because of that, I'm using TypeScript in all of the videos where JavaScript is involved. So I thought it makes sense for me to create a dedicated series where I can explain some of the basic concepts. In the first video, I already provide a more detailed approach or a more detailed overview of what we're going to cover. And in this video, I want to get our project up and running. So here is a mock of what we are going to build, right? It's going to be a website, an e-commerce. Oh, what a surprise. I mean, many projects or many series that implement e-commerce websites. But in any case, I think it's a good setup for us to discuss many concepts related to TypeScript. Anything can be a good setup because TypeScript is used everywhere in the code and there are always use cases. So I could even create a simple series of scripts in a Node project and without any visuals. But I think it makes also the project a little bit nicer to follow if we are developing something that we can play around in the browser. Yeah, so this is going to be the main screen of our application. And once we click on a button for more info, for example, we will show a small pop-up with some more information about the product, maybe a larger picture, some text here at the bottom, and then we offer the possibility of adding to the cart. And once I click on the show cart button, then I show all the products that we have added and we give the opportunity for the user to remove the product from the cart. Maybe this is going to be extended, so we could think about simulating some payment functionality that could be interesting. But one important thing is that we'll be doing all this in memory, right? So it's not going to be anything that will have a back end or a server that we will be saving these entities in a database. This is going to be really a very straightforward project where we will use just local storage to store this data. And because our main goal here is TypeScript, right? And TypeScript is TypeScript if the project is very simple or if the project is very complex. And the very nice thing is that we'll see that the concepts that we use in this more straightforward project, they're going to be virtually the same concepts that we use in our more complex social media application, for example. By the way, I'm also developing a series there, so I'm putting the link in the description of this video. So the tools that we will be using, we will start with the Create React app, and I know maybe you already came across this and you don't like Create React app. I personally always tend to start a React project from scratch and I add the configuration as I want to. But for our purposes here, the Create React app is really saving a lot of time. So we will just go ahead and we will use the Create React app with the template of TypeScript, right? So I'll just copy this. I'll open a terminal window and I'm going to change to some directory where I want to work. And I think that my personal projects is going to be a good place. Let me put maybe in the YouTube channel within coding. And then here I can start npx create react app and I will write this TypeScript by example and I will use the template of TypeScript. So give it a couple of seconds. It's going to download and install everything. It may take a little bit longer. This project uses Yarn by default, so I think we will just use Yarn here, but on the other project that we are working with in the social media app, I think we will use NPM. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's more a matter of personal preference. So whatever you decide to go with, it's also fine. So we don't need to add anything more if we are creating the project from scratch, right? If we had a running project, then there are some additional instructions here that we could consider or that we should follow, right? So let's have a look. It's still installing everything. And in addition to create React app, what we are going to use is the material UI, right? So this is a UI package for the React application, and I find it quite straightforward to use. I think I used in a couple of projects in the past, but I just want to save as much time as possible. Here we are not going to develop the design system that we will use. We will do that in the social media application series, right? So in the social media application series, we will both set up the project in React from scratch, and we will develop our own design system there. So maybe the case that we use some UI library that is already available, but we will definitely customize this to that library to our needs for that application. Here we will simply use most of the functionality out of the box. I'm not going to worry that much about styling. I will just use the components as they are provided, so the vanilla version of the components. Okay, so it seems that it has successfully created. So I can CD into this project, I think. So now if I move into the Typescript by example, and I will open my IDE on this directory, give it a couple of seconds, and I think we will have the window for us to work with. Exactly, so now we have it here. Just a brief exploration of what's available. We have a git ignore file that's is ignoring a couple of folders and specific files that we shouldn't add. We have a source folder where our application is located. So this is our application, right? And a couple more things in here, and then we have the public directory. Now, as you can see, there is not much access to the configuration files, and that's one of the downsides of the Create React app, is that there are lots of dependencies, and if you don't eject the project, you cannot really customize as much as you may want to. But for our purposes, as already said, this is enough, right? So let's start, or maybe we go back to the terminal and let's start our application and check that everything is working fine. So I need to run yarn start in order to start our application. And here I will probably use my IDE most of the times because I prefer to have everything in one window, but it's a matter of preference. So yarn start, and let's see what it's going to pop up on the screen. So give it a couple of seconds again until it compiles. And I believe exactly, so edit source /apt.tsx and save to reload. I believe that we have hot reloading enabled. Let me have a look at the console. Yeah, so it's saying that hot reload should be enabled. Let's give it a try. For our purposes, I have edited, right? I have edited, and if we save, then we should see the change, hopefully. It's compiling. Exactly, so I have edited. Yeah, so hot reloading is working. We can use this project, and now we can edit the code. So I wanted to give you a little bit of overview of a React application, and maybe I will do this in the next video. So if you are entirely not familiar with React, it's okay. So React is I think the basics are very straightforward to understand, and we will go through them a little bit in the next video, directly working with code. What I would expect is for you to be familiar with HTML, right? So at least to know what the div means, what a header means, image, paragraph, links, and so on. This I would expect you to be familiar with. You don't need to be an expert, but it helps a lot if you can work with HTML components. Good. We have our project running, And I think that in the next video we can come back and I will discuss briefly the basics of React, like the very basics, at least for you to know what I'm doing and to know how to build things in React. And then we can install the material UI package and already try to integrate it into our project. Okay, so thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.